Jamie followed the janitor through a narrow corridor, the walls lined with mirrors. Each mirror reflected a different version of himself, some older, some younger, some barely recognizable. The janitor's voice echoed through the hall. "Janitor, these mirrors show the many paths your life could take. Choose wisely, for each decision shapes your destiny." "Jamie, this is overwhelming. How do I know which path to choose?" The janitor pointed to a mirror at the end of the hall. "Janitor, that mirror shows your true self. Trust in who you are and you'll find your way." Jamie took a deep breath and walked towards the mirror, his reflection becoming clearer with each step. As he approached, he saw not just his face, but glimpses of pivotal moments in his life, successes, failures, moments of joy, and times of sorrow. Each scene played out like a movie, reminding him of the choices that had brought him to this point. Jamie, whispering to himself, "Trust in who I am." With newfound resolve, Jamie touched the mirror and it rippled like water, enveloping him in a warm, comforting light. The corridor and the janitor faded away, leaving Jamie standing in the middle of his school hallway, the sounds of students and teachers filling the air once more. He glanced back, but the corridor of mirrors was gone. Clutching the ace of spades in his hand, Jamie knew that his journey was far from over, but he felt more prepared than ever to face whatever came next. Jamie stepped through the mirror, finding himself in a room filled with floating orbs of light. Each orb contained a different scene, a different dream. Some were beautiful, others were nightmares. A soft, ethereal voice filled the room. "Ghostly Tia, these are the dreams of those who have walked these halls before you. Some achieved their dreams, others lost them along the way. Jamie, what happens to the lost dreams? Ghostly Tia, they remain here, waiting for someone to find them." Jamie reached out to touch one of the orbs, feeling a surge of energy as memories of his own dreams and aspirations flooded his mind. He saw visions of his childhood ambitions, moments of doubt, and flashes of triumph. "Ghostly TA, remember Jamie, your dreams are within your reach. Never give up on them." The room began to glow brighter, the orbs swirling around Jamie as if encouraging him to hold on to his dreams. He felt a renewed sense of purpose, a fire igniting within him. "Jamie, I won't. I'll keep dreaming, and I'll make them a reality." With those words, the orbs of light began to fade, and Jamie found himself back in the school hallway, the ace of spades still in his hand. The journey ahead was still uncertain, but he now carried the dreams of many, determined to forge his own path. Jamie found himself back in the elevator, the red button now replaced with a green one. He pressed it, the elevator ascending rapidly. When the doors opened, he was in a grand hall, filled with students and professors. At the center stood the Ghost Professor, a stern look on his face. "Ghost Professor Jamie, you have faced many challenges and learned much on your journey, but now you must pass the final test." "Jamie, what is the final test?" "Ghost Professor, you must present your thesis on the importance of literature in understanding the human condition." Jamie took a deep breath, gathering his thoughts. "Jamie, literature allows us to explore the depths of human experience, to understand different perspectives, and to connect with others on a profound level. It is through stories that we find meaning and purpose in our lives." The Ghost Professor nodded, a smile forming on his lips. "Ghost Professor? Well said, Jamie. You have passed the test. Welcome to the world of scholars." With those words, the grand hall erupted in applause. Jamie felt a wave of relief and pride wash over him. The faces of the students and professors blurred into a radiant light, and he realized he was no longer in the hall but back in his own room, the ace of spades still in his hand. He had completed the journey, but more importantly, he had rediscovered his passion and purpose. Jamie knew that this was just the beginning of a new adventure. Jamie stepped out of the grand hall feeling a sense of accomplishment. He was back in the familiar corridors of his school, but everything felt different. He had changed, grown, and learned so much. As he walked towards his English Lit class, he couldn't help but smile. The faces of students and teachers he passed by now seemed filled with new possibilities, and the once mundane aspects of school life shimmered with newfound significance. Jamie. Time for the real adventure to begin. He entered the classroom, the scent of old books and chalk dust filling the air. The room was buzzing with chatter, but Jamie felt a calm confidence he hadn't known before. Jamie took his seat, placing the ace of spades on his desk as a reminder of his journey. His professor, who had been a constant source of inspiration, noticed the card and gave Jamie a knowing nod. "Professor Jamie, it's good to see you. Ready for today's discussion?" "Jamie, more than ever, Professor." The class began, but this time Jamie felt more engaged and connected. The words on the pages weren't just ink and paper. They were gateways to understanding the human condition, just as he had expressed in the final test. As the lesson continued, Jamie realized that this was just the beginning. There were countless stories to explore, lessons to learn, and adventures to embark upon. He had passed the final test, but life itself was the ultimate classroom.